judges are ready. The fighters are ready. The boxing world is ready.
The fight starts now!
Let's go.
How do you like it? On the show.
So aggressive, so focused.
It all comes down to this. Still the undisputed champion of the world. DAZN Weekend Preview.
Welcome to the High Stakes Barrios versus Garcia preview show presented by Paramount Scream 7, only in theaters on Friday. And that is Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world, and a big fight in Vegas on Saturday. I'm Chris Mannix, joined by the former junior middleweight champion Sergio Mora. And Sergio, high stakes is the right phrase, the right tagline for this fight, because there are huge stakes right now. Mario Barrios is the champion at 147, but he's coming off back-to-back draws and hasn't really established himself as a champion yet. Ryan Garcia hasn't established himself as anything other than an attraction, maybe even on social media. He's looking to win his first world title. Who are the stakes higher for in this fight?
It's Ryan Garcia. It's do or die for him because people are tired of giving him second chances. A lot of people are saying he doesn't deserve this opportunity as well, coming off his last two fights and performances, failed drug tests and so on. But Mario Barrios, he belongs on this stage, but he's coming off back-to-back draws. So I would say it's Ryan Garcia back against the wall. He's going to have to do something great to remind everybody, not only his fans, boxing, his promoter, but himself, that he's still the goods and he can finally cross that championship finish line.
Tell me what you need to see from Ryan Garcia, because he really is a mixed bag. You go back to the first press conference last month. Ryan Garcia was full of energy. He had gimmicks. He was calling out Joe Goosen. He was calling out Mario Barrios. This press conference, a much more subdued version of Ryan Garcia. I don't know what to read into that. I don't know what to make of this version of Ryan Garcia. But when he gets in the ring and that first bell rings against Barrios, what do you need to see from him?
I need to see a little bit of the crazy. Ryan Garcia, I'll be honest with you. Guys that are subdued like that, they're a little bit too relaxed. He's a twitchy type fighter, so I need him to be a little bit more manic, believe it or not. I need him to be more energetic, filled with adrenaline. Sometimes when you fight a little bit too relaxed, too loose like that, you're not quick with your muscle memory. So he fights off of instinct, Ryan Garcia does. And if he's not really sharp against a durable, experienced fighter like Mario Barrios, who, as we've seen when they size up, is a lot bigger than Garcia. Garcia's not going to have the size advantage that he normally has. This can be a dangerous fight the later it goes for Ryan Garcia.
So let's talk about Mario Barrios, who is a pro's pro. Been a contender or a champion in multiple weight classes, has a strong resume, hasn't won a lot of those fights, but has a good resume. He made a decision to go to Joe Goosen for this fight. Joe Goosen, veteran trainer, been around, Diego Corrales, among others, also trained Ryan Garcia for 3 fights. What do you think of that decision, and can that play a role in this fight?
I'm not a fan of trainer changes, and I think the head games that Mario Barrios is going to Goosen, yes, maybe there's a little bit of spy games going on there. Joe Goosen did train with Ryan Garcia, but ultimately, it doesn't make a difference. The fighters are going to do what they got to do inside the ring, and character reveals itself. It doesn't matter what voice is in your corner. Mario Barrios is who he is. On the biggest stages, he comes up just a tad short. Ryan Garcia is all over the place. He's come up short, but he's also shined. That's what makes this fight intriguing, but it has nothing to do with the trainers.
Well, then what do you want to see out of Mario Barrios, who has shown he can hit and knock people out? He has also shown he can be hit and get knocked out. What do you want to see from Barrios beginning in round 1?
I want to see technique. This fight's going to come down with that right hand being glued to the right side of the face of Mario Barrios. Take away that one punch of Ryan Garcia, which is that left hook. If you take away that punch and you go to go under that punch, then that becomes susceptible. Ryan Garcia, you could turn that punch against him. He's a one-trick pony. Everyone knows that. You take that one trick away, then he's no magician.
Look, I think Mario Barrios got a great jab, and I want to see him stick the jab in the face of Ryan Garcia throughout the course of this fight. But I am curious to see if Joe Goosen, who you know is an offensive-oriented trainer, he wants his guys to rumble out there. Mario Barrios, in recent fights under Bob Santos, has been a little bit more defensively responsible. Do you think we're going to see a little bit of the Goosen effect on Mario Barrios and see him go out there and try to knock Ryan out?
Yeah, because Joe Goosen, Goosen can't help himself. That's the style. Offense is their defense. Every single great champion that he's had in the stable, it's come forward, it's aggression, it's breaking down fighters. And, of course, they're excellent cheerleaders in the corner. They motivate their fighters, So Mario Barrios, he knows how to fight. So he knows how to follow a game plan. And I think the motivation that Goosen and the experience and that knowledgeable voice, that familiar voice, it could come into play, but I'm not reading too much into it.
Ryan Garcia has called this fight do or die, win or go home. Do you think the stakes are that high for Ryan?
100%. And I think the crowd is going to be a big factor here, because if he doesn't have that environment that normally he feeds off of, that everyone's up on their feet, the fans really support Ryan Garcia, and if the fans aren't there for Ryan Garcia is going to have to pull a trick up his sleeve.
All right, Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios is a terrific fight in the main event, but this is one of the best undercards that I have ever seen. Multiple world championship fights on this undercard, multiple crossroads fights on this undercard. It begins at the top, the IBF Junior Welterweight World Title. Richardson Hitchens going up against Oscar Duarte. The last time Hitchens was in Vegas going up against a pressure fighter, it didn't go great against Gustavo Lemos. We'll see what he's got against Duarte. Then Gary Antoine Russell, the first defense of his 140-pound title. He's facing Andy Hiroka, who just arrived here in Nevada midweek. He is here, and he is ready to fight. Then down there in the 140-pound division, Frank Martin going up against Tahir Albright, two guys that really can't afford to pick up a loss at this stage of his career. And then opening the show, Bektemir Melikuziev, the bully, try to climb his way up the 168-pound rankings, going up against the veteran Sene Agbeko. Sergio, I want to talk briefly about the Hitchens-Duarte fight. We saw these two guys going at it at the press conference, and I love that. Hitchens says that Lemos fight, don't look too far into that, but it's hard not to, because Lemos is a pressure fighter, and I think Duarte is a better version of Lemos.
Not only a better version, but a bigger version as well. He's a lot bigger and taller and stronger than Lemos, and if Lemos was able to rock and chin Hitchens like that, then that could be bad news for Hitchens. But see, he passed that test. I want to see fighters pass that test in order for them to cross into the championship level. How are they going to react when they're dropped, when they're cut, when they're hurt? Richardson Hitchens passed all those tests, and now he proves why he's the champion.
Let me give you a little inside baseball here, because I think this is going to be a factor in this fight. Richardson Hitchens had a problem last time out with the IBF rehydration clause, specifically that there wasn't a lot of time on the West Coast between when you have to reweigh in for the IBF, get under that 10 pounds, and then you actually fight. The last two fights where he has looked outstanding, against Liam Paro to win his title, against George Kambosos, those fights have been on the East Coast. He has had more time. Not only, Sergio, is he back on the West Coast, he's on the undercard of this fight, which means it's going to be even less time for him before he gets in the ring. Do you think that's a variable in this fight?
I didn't think about that. And when you brought that up, it makes a lot of sense, because, fighters are accustomed to acclimating their bodies wherever they go. But that 3-hour difference does make a big deal whenever you're trying to time your weight. Fighters time their weight to try to go, hit the scales at the right time. The IBF clause is a terrible clause. I fought under that. It's like reweighing the day of the fight. Every fighter hates it, so that's going to be a big deal. The time difference is going to be a big deal, and it being on the undercard, to get, be ready faster. All those things are going to be a factor.
Both those guys are predicting a knockout. Which one do you think gets the knockout?
I don't think no one gets a knockout. I think Hitchens dominates with that long reach, that jab, that brilliant jab, 5 inches reach. He doesn't engage. I think he controls the fight. Duarte is going to try to make it a physical fight. Hitchens is going to extinguish that.
I love that fight. I love this card. I love everything about this show on Saturday. It's going to be all action from start to finish, and ending with a 147-pound title fight with such high stakes for both of these guys. Well, Scream 7 is the scariest movie in the iconic series as Ghostface launches a personal attack and brutally terrorizes Sidney Prescott. You don't want to miss this one. Get your tickets for Scream 7 only in theaters on February 27th.
Hello, Sidney. I'm gonna kill everyone you love while you watch.
Scream only in theaters.
Well, welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, the site of the welterweight showdown between Ryan Garcia and WBC 147-pound champion Mario Barrios. Well, Sergio, time now for some DraftKings odds. Let's make some picks here, according to DraftKings. Let's start with the main event. The odds makers have made Ryan Garcia a favorite. They are also favoring him to win this fight by knockout. Do you think they've got those right?
No, I'm actually going to go against the book. I think Mario Barrios is a durable fighter. He's coming out back-to-back draws. This is a draw-type fight, but I do see Ryan Garcia pulling it out by decision. I don't see any knockouts, but maybe some knockdowns.
You think Ryan beats Barrios by decision?
That's how durable Mario Barrios is.
But do you think Ryan outboxes Mario Barrios?
Tank is. Yeah, I think he gets.
Really?
I think he gets the respect. I think he pops that jab. He controls the distance. Barrios is going to have to respect the speed.
Barrios
the power.
got the better jab.
Maybe the stronger jab, but not the faster jab. And speed kills. I love Ryan Garcia when he's on point. That left hand, just like Oscar De La Hoya, that left hand is dominant. You know, he can throw it with a 45-degree angle, the left hook, the uppercut, the body shot, as Luke Campbell figured it out. So he may be a one-trick pony, but that trick is enough.
Look, I think Ryan Garcia can, and I would say will win this fight, but if it goes to a decision, I'm taking Mario Barrios to win by a decision. I think he's the better boxer of these two guys, especially at 147 pounds. All right, the undercard is outstanding. 2 world championship fights, crossroads fights, great prospects on this undercard as well. These are competitive fights, especially the championship fights. What is the fight that you feel most confident in your prediction?
Hitchens Duarte. Look, I love Oscar Duarte. We've been calling a lot of his fights. He's a pressure fighter. He's very difficult if you let him get inside. Hitchens doesn't let you get inside, and I think the experience he picked up from that Gustavo Lemos fight is going to serve him well right here, because Duarte is coming forward. He knows how to get in your face. Hitchens not going to allow that. I think Hitchens' decision.
I want to look Hitchens in the eye on Saturday afternoon and see how that rehydration went. I think that's going to tell us a lot about Richard Hitchens' chances. I like Gary Antoine Russell in this fight. On paper, the Hiroka fight is a very tough fight, but you have to remember, Hiroka just got here. He just got into the U.S. It is midweek, and Andy Hiroka is just finishing a 17-hour flight getting to the U.S. That's like us going to Saudi Arabia. That is a long flight for Andy Hiroka. I have a hard time seeing that not bother him, not affect him physically, and Gary Antoine Russell is not the fighter you want to go up against that when you're affected physically. All right, excluding the main event, who do you think has the best chance to score a knockout victory?
I would say Russell and Hiroka. I mean, both of them are power punchers. They're both southpaws. Lefties hate fighting other lefties, but I think the better feat is with Hiroka. And yeah, that's a big red flag, the travel change and coming off the flight. But I think this Japanese fighter, you know, they're warriors. They're mentally strong, and I think he's going to carry that in the ring. I think it's going to be a quick night. Both of them have big power, but Hiroka's a live dog.
I think Russell, too. Like, it's a 17-hour flight. That is a long flight, and you're just getting here midweek. You got to adjust. He wasn't at the press conference. He's got to, physically, that has got to be draining. I think Gary Antoine Russell, who improved a lot in that Rayo Valenzuela fight, I think he's going to, that is the one I would take to win by knockout. All right, which fighter do you think has the best chance of pulling off an upset in this fight?
Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios, I think he has that much experience. I think he's the bigger fighter. He's going to rehydrate and look much bigger inside that ring. And we all know that Ryan Garcia is hot or cold, hit or miss. And him training with his father, bouncing around from trainer to trainer, it says more about his mental status. And we all know Ryan Garcia has struggled with mental issues. So I just think this kid's juggling a lot. And Mario Barrios has been prepared for this moment. He's been groomed for this moment. He's fought on the biggest stage possible, pay-per-views on Canelo undercards. So this is nothing new for him. And I think this is a time for him to shine.
Yeah, on this we agree. Barrios is a very good fighter. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call him a great fighter, and he has come up short against the biggest names on his resume, Keith Thurman, Gervonta Davis, among others. But he is still a professional, solid B+ level guy, in my opinion. If Ryan Garcia is not on his game, I think he's going to have a lot of problems with Mario Barrios. All right, you look down the card. The fight with the best chance to end in a draw is what?
Probably Mario Barrios. He's coming off back-to-back draws.
Third time's the charm?
Third time's the charm. I mean, whenever you keep fights that close, it's not that you're looking to win spectacularly. He's not going for the knockout. He just wants to stay in the game. He wants to make rounds close. He doesn't really want to dominate and win every single round. That's Mario Barrios. That's a veteran for you. So I think if any fight ends in a draw, it's going to be the third time's a charm for Mario Barrios.
I got to go with Hitchens Duarte because we saw Hitchens in a super competitive fight against Gustavo Lemos a couple of years ago. That tells me a pressure fighter can bother him. And look, Oscar Duarte won his last fight, but that was a majority draw against Kenneth Sims. I think that's going to be a super competitive fight that goes to the scorecards as well. I think that is most likely to wind up as a draw. All right, which fight or fighter has the best chance of ending their fight within 3 rounds?
Gary Russell, Hiroka, too much power. Too much power. Lefties hate fighting other lefties, and I think Hiroka, because of that flight change, if he does have any lingering physical issues, he's going to want to start fast because he doesn't want to go into the later rounds. So I think that one could end quickly with two power punching left-handers.
Yeah, I think that's true. I would probably lean towards that, but I also think the Ryan Barrios fight. I think if Ryan catches Barrios early, Barrios could be in trouble. We saw Ryan first round against Devin Haney. First round against Devin Haney, clipped him with that left hook. Now, Ryan, I don't know what version of him we're going to get in this fight, but he's shown he has early in the fight power, and that left hook is real. I also think Barrios, one of the weaknesses I see in him in this fight is he's slow. He's not as fast as Ryan Garcia, and sometimes when he throws that right hand, he kind of leaves it out there, Sergio. Kind of leaves it hanging out there. You know what happens like that? Go back to the Francisco Fonseca fight that Ryan fought all those years ago. You leave that right hand out there, he's coming over the top with that left hook.
I think Gervonta Davis, it took him 11 rounds to knock out Mario Barrios. So if
different fighter, though.
He's more
of a counter puncher.
But he's more explosive. He's a harder puncher than Ryan Garcia. He's just as quick, twitchy, and a southpaw, just more explosive from the lower body, and he's a shorter fighter, so it's even more explosive. So I think Mario Barrios learned from all those. Of course, Keith one-time Thurman, I think he, pound for pound, is a harder puncher than both Garcia and Tank because he's naturally a bigger fighter. So power's not going to intimidate Mario Barrios, and that's the reason I see the distance.
Really fascinating card. Top to bottom, excellent fights. Knockout possibilities all around. Draw possibilities here as well that's on this card on Saturday. On DraftKings Sportsbook, all customers can get 30% winning method profit boost for use on any of tonight's fights. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code DAZN when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. And do not miss DAZN's new Ultimate Plan. It is the best value for fight fans all over the world who want the best in boxing on their terms. Join Ultimate and get a minimum of 12 pay-per-view events every year at no extra cost, including Saturday's high-stakes fight between Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia.
The first rule of DAZN Ultimate is
The first rule of DAZN Ultimate is you do not pay per view.
you do not
pay per view.
Do not pay per view.
The Ultimate Fight Night is here. You do not want to miss this.
Second rule of DAZN Ultimate is
Second rule,
is you don't pay per view.
because Ultimate gives you a minimum of 12 pay per view fights a year at no extra cost.
The only rule of DAZN Ultimate,
You do not pay per view. So join us ringside and welcome to DAZN Ultimate.